One of the biggest questions that I often get asked every year around revision time is, why on earth do we need to add so much detail to our revision plan, Miss? What's that all about? Can't we just read some notes? Well, no, you can't. You do need to understand exactly what you're facing. And this is the third part of my series this week on how to revise. And I could take you through the story of why I know how to revise. It would take you back to me being 14 and walking along a corridor at my school with what felt like the weight of the world on my shoulders, because so much was going on in my world that I couldn't think straight. It was probably the saddest time of my life, in which I couldn't see a way forward. And it wasn't just about school, because I could immerse myself in school. And I was a good learner. It was because of everything else that was going on. I could not just focus. And it's a time when decisions had to be made as to how to take myself forward. And it was a teacher, Miss Carabin, you might have heard me talk about her a few times, who started to get me organised. Started because I had been truanting before that because of my unhappiness. And she helped me get all the specifications together, work out what was missing, and focus my energies correctly. And that is the model that I use with my students today, because I'm lucky in many ways, even though I've had quite a traumatic life. It's one in which it's taught me so many lessons, which I seek to pass on to other students, to young people today, that there's always a way forward through education if you have the right type of guidance. So let me tell you, Miss Carabin, she was a little, let's say she didn't give up on us. Even when there was teacher strikes, she had us in to get our work done because she wanted all of the syllabus covered. So she would say, the first step is to identify where the gaps are. And in order to do that, you need to go and get a copy of the specification from your teachers or from your child's teachers, so that you can see and start crossing off what you know, what you don't know, what you know enough of to get through, or what you would need some polishing up on. After that, the next step would be to read past notes and enhance them a little bit. So the bits that you don't know, you then start putting in, filling in those gaps. And the last step is to test yourself on what you do or don't know. And this has to go in a circular motion. It has to be repeat, 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 repeat until you know everything that you need for those exams. Because when I say revise with discipline, like an athlete, you wouldn't find, for example, Usain Bolt rocking up to the starting blocks for a race unless he was 100% ready for the race. In the same way, we should teach our kids to only rock up for the exam if they feel that they are ready for it. 100% is, but at least mindset ready to go in there positively, seeking the outcomes that they want. This is what the basis I like to work on, that people know why they want something and they go in there ready to get it. This is why I like to work with vulnerable kids, because I love that growth in them as they see what they want, when the light bulb comes on and they know. And it reminds me so much of that day when somebody started listening to me, how everything started coming together from then. And I've been lucky, I've got several degrees and I've got a love of learning. And that love of learning is a lifelong love of learning because I can see where it takes me. So for a revision timetable, which I often get many objections to from the kids, because it's quite detailed. What I want you to think about is creating blocks of work. So for A levels, we tend to work in hourly blocks, in which 15 minutes of that hour, the last 15 minutes, pens down, leave the room, empty your brain, come back with a clean canvas. But each topic takes at least 2 to 3 hours, in which at the start of that time, you've made a decision about what you want to know by the end of the 2 or 3 blocks. Trust me, it works. I've tested this many times on students over the last few weeks, and they've been very happy about the way that they've made that progress. So let's say you were learning aims and objectives in business. The first block, the first hour would be spent half an hour reading old notes, 15 minutes filling in the gaps, 15 minutes walked out of the room, having a break. Come back for the second hour. This is a recall hour in which you try and recall the facts and the applications of what you've just learned in the first hour. And it's 45 minutes in which you write new notes and compare to the old ones and see what you've retained. 15 minutes, go for a break. And the last hour, you're coming in on past exam questions and mark scheme work. And you'd be amazed at how effective that is at actually being able to answer those past questions based on the previous 2 hours work. If you're happy with the mark scheme work, then you know you can put that aside for a day or 2 while you carry out the same repetition with a different topic. And you might decide then, because remember, plans can be changed, you might decide then to go back to the beginning and do a whole past paper rather than past questions and time yourself. As you go through that circle, repeating, you'd be amazed that your confidence starts to fly. And you'll be ready to say, bring the exam now. I'm ready now. Not this, I don't know what I'm going to do, and I'm going to read my revision guide as I'm walking up to the door. None of that. We walk up to the door with our heads high, our backs straight, ready for action. How does that sound? What I'm going to do for you as a gift, I'm going to prepare a PDF of that circle and how to repeat it. And I'm going to post it below, and I'll let you know when it's ready. In the meantime, folks, as always, have a lovely day, and I'll see you soon.